Evening.
Good evening. I'll be starting then.
Yeah, crack on, Max. What the 30-second countdown was for?
Oh, was it?
I thought it was a test. John's still got his butty. Right, we'll go now. Yes, guys, back for another edition of the We're Off Topic podcast. Plenty to crack through today. Josh will be joining us shortly. I think he's just going through some errands, isn't he, chaps? But
I don't actually know if he's going to join. I think he genuinely could be dying.
Yeah.
There's been some suspect messages, but one way or another, we hopefully will pull through, join us. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how things go. But plenty to crack through this week, guys. Been a catalogue of Premier League games. Chelsea Spurs yesterday, what a game. Arsenal Newcastle, controversy galore. Luton Liverpool, banana skin as it was. John Everton, the points just keep coming. Another draw to Brighton. Man United, more to talk about there. Eric off the hook with a paper over the cracks win. Harry Kane to talk about, hat-trick in the Dortmund derby. Man City, Doku breaking Premier League records with 4 assists. All to come, guys. And of course, another failed weekly bet. Let's get stuck into it. Yesterday was an absolutely cracking game, the Chelsea Spurs. John, I know you were a big fan of that game yesterday. 5 disallowed goals, 2 red cards. I mean, where'd you start with that one?
I think just start with football lately is a little bit, I don't know, I feel like everyone's a bit same with it. It's all a bit boring games of footy. That's the way it's going now. Coaches are coaching, football out of footy. If that makes sense. You watch a game and you don't feel like you're getting anything out of it. It's a bit boring. Everyone's trying to keep the ball, and that yesterday was just a throwback, bit of chaos. That I'm going for it either way. Even when they're down to 9 men, Spurs are doing mad stuff that I've never seen. So yeah, first of all, for the viewer, boss, everyone just enjoying footy again. That's how you know it's gone different, because everyone's so amazed that the game is a bit mad. It used to always be like that. Yeah, and then obviously VAR adds to it a bit, doesn't it? Gives it a bit of just a bit of drama, bit of added stuff for everyone to talk about. And we'll probably get into some of the VAR decisions, but yeah, I just properly enjoyed a good game of footy.
Yeah, it was absolutely crackers, wasn't it? I think, obviously...
Let's address the elephant in the room first.
Yeah, set me off. Yeah, I think it was all... The tone was set by the 2 red cards, wasn't it? I mean... Dom, you caught both of them. The first one, Romero, I don't think he's got any complaints with that one.
Oh, the Tottenham game's this?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was completely threw off by the Bo Selector shouts. And then let's just get into this comment first.
Fucking hell.
So for anyone listening who's not watching on YouTube, Max, how many Hot Wheel cars do you reckon you can fit up your ass?
How big are they?
And you get 3 or 4.
Yeah, have you tried?
I'm just thinking of the size of them.
Yeah, okay.
Or how many...
That's another podcast, isn't it?
How many Kinder eggs?
I'm not looking at the comments. I think it might throw me off, but if they keep coming in it...
let's get back into it then. So Spurs... how'd you go on from that? Spurs one, that sending off, mate. I think he's just a lunatic, isn't he? Every time I watch Tottenham, and I think he's either getting booked or he's getting sent off, and I never put it on. Now, if there was one game that he was ever going to certainly get sent off or booked, it was yesterday, wasn't it? I think someone was talking, one of the Australian footballers the other week, who played under Ange, and said, when it comes to the game, he's like a totally different man. He gets you so fired up, you'd run through walls for him, you break down doors, you'd do anything for him, and you get so pumped coming out the tunnel. Now, I think that got the best of Tottenham yesterday. After watching them back and after listening to what was going on while I was in the car, I just felt like they were just a loose cannon, and I genuinely thought that was down to mismanagement from him, because, fucking hell, you can't be going out at 9 men and playing a 50-yard high line. It's just that's embarrassing. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that they went for it and whatever, but you've got to manage the game in that circumstance. Like when we played Tottenham the other week and we were down to 9 men, we didn't go at them. What we done was we sat back and we let them come on to us and try and hit them on the counter. Nearly worked in our favour with 9 men. They just about beat us. So I think he's getting so much credit, but I think he should be getting a lot of shit for that as well.
I thought the credit was a bit mad for that myself.
Yeah.
Weird.
You got
like-
4-1.
When Carroll was saying
Robbie
like,
Williams song as well.
It was
when
only
Carroll-
good. It was only good for 20 minutes because Chelsea couldn't work out just time you run and you're in.
It's a good job at wearing against City or Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea is shit. Nicholas Jackson, fucking hell, how's he bagging that shit to me?
hat-trick. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I did think it was a bit weird. Carroll after the game was saying that Tottenham will take away from that as much as Chelsea will. I thought not a chance. Like they've been pumped 4-1.
To be fair, they probably should just both take nothing away from it.
No, they were both
Tottenham
shit.
have gone down to 9 men, and Chelsea have beat 9 men.
I'm coming to Tottenham's defence here, which is quite crazy, but I do think like
some Arsenal fan.
When I was watching it, I was like, I didn't know if it was like something because it what for the first 20 minutes they couldn't get through Chelsea, could they? It looked like it looked like it was almost working a little bit, and then they had the disallowed Eric Dyer goal, and all of a sudden it was very nearly 2-2. But like all of a sudden they got in once, they got in, and they got in several times after that, and it could have been 9-1.
That is it. It's more on Chelsea for me. That's why I don't think Tottenham should take much. Chelsea just didn't figure it out fast enough. Once they did, it was game over, wasn't it? So
I thought, to be fair, I thought first 15 minutes Tottenham were unplayable, but I fully expected that at home in the derby. Do you know what I mean? Like that's exactly how they should have been, especially the form they're in. But again, I just think pure mismanagement and lack of understanding of how to control your emotions in a game. That Romero is one of them. He's getting so much like praise off Tottenham fans and that, and that's how he should be in a derby. And that, no, 10 years ago maybe, but not when VAR exists. You can't be an arsehole like that all the time.
It was like they were thinking about being in a title race 10 games in, like, oh, we've got now to 10 men. It's mad.
I thought they won it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, and I think Ndogi, like, he was lucky in the first half, and then that second yellow was so stupid. Like there was no need. He was going away from goal. Like when they're already down to 10 men as well, it was naive to say the least.
That's just an example of it, though, isn't it? That's an example of them being either too wound up or too game to win everything, to win every tackle, to do everything. You sometimes, and I know I don't even know how old he is, but he looks quite young, to be fair, and he's inexperienced in the Premier League. But that's a massive learning curve that for him, because there's no way he should be throwing himself into Sterling.
Mad.
Exactly. And I must say, I've been quite impressed this season by Vicario, the Spurs keeper. He looks really good. I think when he was first signed for quite a lot of money, there was, as it would be with a foreign keeper, why don't you just bring in X, England solid person like Joe Hart or someone, as it would have been years ago, or Sam Pickford. Yeah, exactly.
He thought he was
like that. Like you've seen those articles go around. So
they were linked to
Pickford, they signed in. There was quite a few raised eyebrows, but I must admit he's looked really good. And I wasn't a fan of his somersault yesterday when Mudryk and him had a little coming together.
That was weird.
But I must admit he's been really good.
The saves on Cucurella was brilliant.
Was it?
Yeah. And it was. Cucurella goes through and then he dives at his feet dead flat. He looked good yesterday. He looked the part.
The first game I seen him of the season, he was nervy. He was a proper wreck, and I thought he's too young and inexperienced for this.
I thought that.
Well, as the season got on, I mean, we're only 10 games in, don't get me wrong, but he looks a good keeper. Like,
looks all right.
I mean, it's tricky times for Tottenham now, though, because they've had a fairly decent run of fixtures, but then coming up, they've got Wolves this weekend in the early kickoff, and they're going to be without Romero. Van der Ven went off injured. That's bad for them because he's been really good, leaving in crutches. And Ndogi obviously not going to be there. Maddison, he came off, so they could be without a few and they've got some tricky games coming up. So could that be the end of their title charge? We will have to wait and see.
We literally spoke about them last week about how serious is it, and we said they can't afford injuries, they can't afford suspensions. The week later, they've had about 10.
I think we proper jinxed it, didn't we? Because I
Yeah.
said, as long as Maddison doesn't get injured, they've got a chance. He gets injured the next game.
Exactly.
But I thought with Maddison as well, he got a knock on the ankle. Listen, I don't know how serious you are about this league or whatever it is. I'm saying to him, listen, get off, get strapped up and get back on. Get through that game. I don't know how you feel about that, but he's like one of the biggest games that for them. And it's so important this early in the season. A knock on his ankle, I'm sure he could have carried on that.
Yeah. What's Rob's question saying in the chat there?
Got a question for John.
What's he saying? Got a question for John about the Carabao Cup. You managed to get Butter or Port Vale in the potential semi. Who would you rather potentially lose to? I'd just rather beat them. Be sound. What do you mean? Who would I rather lose to? Liverpool, Newcastle every day of the week. And listen, I've been to Wembley and got beat by Liverpool. It's not a good day out.
Oh, it's a fucking brilliant day out when you beat Everton at Wembley.
So if we have to lose Newcastle every day of the week, like no question, is it? But we'll win.
Yeah, 100% agree, Jack.
Yeah, definitely, Jack. I'd seen when he went down, and then obviously he couldn't walk or anything. That looks like more. I mean, you've seen hamstring injuries in the like 6 to 8 weeks for like a normal pull. That looked like it was a tear because he couldn't even walk. And I think the problem with him is that kid. He looks quality. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're that quick, that's gonna happen. That hamstring, no matter what end, no matter what leg, that's gonna happen quite often in your career. We've seen so many players in the past who've got it was so quick and it just kills them. And hopefully it doesn't but yeah, it's a tough one now. I think that's a good 3 or 4 months at least.
Yeah.
Doctor's on.
Oh yeah, big diagnosis.
Chelsea, Man City this Sunday. John, do you hold any hope for Chelsea being able to get something out of that one?
Where's that at? Is it at Chelsea?
I think it's at Chelsea, yeah. At Stamford Bridge.
Who's that? Chelsea?
Chelsea, Man City on Sunday, the 4:30 game.
Yeah.
It's almost like I think City are going to murder them.
Nah, you see, City could murder them, couldn't they? But I know City, they rolled Bournemouth the other day, and Doku was involved in everything, but I don't feel like they've hit like a height this year yet, City. And I feel like Chelsea at home, you never know. I don't fancy the striker, and you're not going to get many chances against City. That's where I probably doubt that they can win. But
yeah,
I don't mind Chelsea as a team. I think they've got something about them every now and again. So if they turn up, then yeah, there's a bit of hope they could get a draw. You never know.
And I just need to say it before it's forgotten in long memory, but I just could not believe Pochettino kind of pre-game and how much he was twerking for Tottenham. It was embarrassing. Like, just talking about how good the times were there. Like, you're Chelsea manager. Like, if he'd have got beaten that, like, I mean, he didn't, so can't say anything. But it just astounded me. Like, and he's not doing well as well. They're 10th, so
mate.
He's happy for them doing well. He's happy for Ange doing well. Like, no, you're Chelsea manager. Like, hold yourself to account a bit more.
If our manager done that, I'd be fuming. Like, especially the interview that he done. He said, who knows what happens in the future? It could go back. I will be livid with that Chelsea. Yeah, what the fuck is that about? Imagine Klopp or Dice saying they'd go back. You'd be like, what?
I'd be thinking, Dice, you want to go back to Burnley, mate?
Yeah, like, you never know, and like all that sort of stuff.
I know what you mean there, though, Max. I couldn't be arsed with that, mate.
Well, they're huge rivals. Like, they're arguably, I think obviously Arsenal's Tottenham's the biggest rivalry for me, but they're definitely second. Like,
do you know what I think it was? If you remember when he took over at Chelsea, one of his first press conference, he turned around and said that he's at Chelsea and Chelsea are the biggest team or something like that.
I think it's kind of the right thing to do. And then like to go
back
on
stick to that
there, like just like wear it. You know what I mean? You're Chelsea manager now, but look, he's got. Oh, he's incredibly unwell. Guess he won't be joining.
Yeah, so Woogs is meant to be in here. He's in the chat.
He's just sent us a picture of his toilet, and I don't want him to come on.
Oh no, he hasn't, has he?
Yeah. I'm trying to eat the ham and cheese sarnie here, lad.
I need to see it.
What are we saying in the comments about?
Oh my god.
Comments.
Oh no, we don't need to.
Comments. What are we saying about salad cream on a sandwich? Anything?
Yeah.
Ham, cheese, sarnie, salad cream.
This is more important than any talk at all. John's
not
got a
me,
butty
John.
here with salad cream on and ham. What else?
Ham, cheese, salad cream.
What about the bit on your face?
That's the salad cream, though.
Yeah.
What's he's ripping you for saying sarnie?
Sarnie. Sour creams for nonsense. Fucking hell.
Yes, Christian.
Nice one, pal.
Look at that.
My
Oh, you're
case
getting
of
fucking
water.
leathered,
My
here, mate.
Listen, my case comes for me all day.
Not
and
just-
now he's
not
coming
just-
after me bread.
Not just white bread, guys. Crustless white bread.
Me and
Yeah,
Mike will
crustless.
fall out.
You got his mum to cut the crust off.
It's got crust, guys.
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes it.
No one having salad cream, no. Lovely on a butty, you know.
One person, I think, out of them all.
Yeah, Supreme. Supreme's a good guy.
I mean, by his profile picture, a Labrador does like butties.
Steering it back to football. So Arsenal, Newcastle at the weekend. Christ, I mean, it was a controversial game to say the least. I think we're still picking up the pieces from the Premier League statement that was released by Mikel Arteta. I mean, we have to start on that incident. Four incidents weren't there that was potentially ruling it out from being a goal. John, what did you make of that one? Did you think we had a case? Do you think the goal should have been allowed? Do you think it went out? I mean, we've been seeing all sorts of different angles on Sky Sports, but
I haven't even thought about you with this. You're going to have loads to say about this, aren't you? I think with the ball situation, I've got no idea. Like, I'm confused about it myself, so I can see why that doesn't get ruled out. I think Gabriel gets fouled, to be honest. Yeah. I thought he got a push in the back, like a push on his neck. Even if you can say he threw himself forward, that's a foul. Maybe it's one of them where you say it's not clear and obvious, but I think it is. They're fouls to me, and I think that should have got disallowed for that. The offside thing, I don't really get at. That's a bit of a murky one because you can't see the ball touch him. So,
yeah,
I don't know what you can do. I think to be fair, but the crying by Arteta, and that's ridiculous. It's a completely different scenario to Liverpool. Liverpool's black and white. He was offside. Done. It should have been ruled out, and it weren't. This is nonsense about the ball and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of fell between. It's 4 different incidents of why a goal maybe shouldn't have stood, and a lot of it is.
What's the fourth one?
Wasn't it?
Does the ball foul offside?
Wasn't it handball that we're saying as well?
Joel Linton at his right hand.
Does it?
Mm.
Yeah, so I think there's, as you say, I think Murky describes it perfectly. The biggest thing I've got to complain about of that is I do think that Raya's got to take the cross. You know what I mean? Raya's got to take the cross. And if he does that, and it's one he should take as well. It's not like really high. It's not like really far away from him. And it goes back to that you were saying about Mudryk and him standing a little bit out of position.
Yeah, Mudryk got told as well, didn't he, by the goalkeeping coach?
He's miles away from it. And I actually think Gabriel, maybe I'm wrong with this, but almost is like half ducking a little bit because he thinks he's going to take it. And I do think it's a push. Like 2 hands in the back.
Foul.
I do think like there's a bit of interpretation around the VAR because his legs have kind of been like cocked up a little bit and then he's gone down. Like, but it's fell between all the 4. And I think the referee looking at it has maybe thought, oh, maybe it's not strong enough on all of those counts individually to maybe disallow it. So it's going to allow it. But it was a very frustrating day. And to be honest, I do find kind of going against a lot of Arsenal fans here, but I was very frustrated with how we played. I actually felt like first half we was all right. Bloody hell, Mike Case.
I'm glad he said that. I would have put it on.
I thought first half we did okay. We battled pretty well. We showed a little bit. I thought we have had times there where we've been rolled over and we didn't do that, but we still didn't create any chances in the final third. I think ball progression to our front line is a real issue at the moment. We're not having that kind of Thomas Partey in the middle that can find an Odegaard. Like Odegaard, obviously not playing at the moment, but we're not finding the gaps between it, and it's just
Party does like finding gaps in between.
Dom.
Why is Odegaard not playing? Is he injured? Sorry.
Yeah, he's injured. But yeah, I just feel like we're a little bit off it at the moment, and we need to respond soon. Got a game against Sevilla tomorrow night, so hopefully.
Do you think you play it all the same as last season, Max?
What's that? Sorry.
Do you think you're anything like last season, the way you play?
No, I think we're far off it at the moment. And I
went out to press switches last year, and this year I watches, and I don't see it. I don't see the football and like the fast playing on.
Yeah, I just think the DNA has gone a little bit. I think we do miss like Granit Xhaka in the middle of the park that could find those passes.
He went half good last season, him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what a season he had! Like, and I feel like there was just goals all over the team and goals and assists everywhere. And like Odegaard, I think he had like 15 goals last season, something stupid. And you know, when we're not scoring these goals and we're not getting these opportunities, yeah, it's become quite apparent. But yeah,
do you know what though, Max? Can I be honest? Yeah, I don't want to piss on your parade. By far, honestly, I don't. But I genuinely think that Arsenal were that good because the rest of the league was that shit. That's my opinion. I think you had challenges normally for the top four that were absolutely piss poor last season. Chelsea, Liverpool, United, nowhere near the best. Tottenham miles off it. I think it was just between Man City and Arsenal, just because the others were just shite.
You did get a lot of points though.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't take away from them because you can only beat what's in front of you. Exactly.
Yeah. I think they were really good for me last year.
We were better last season than we were this season. Like, and I'm seeing players like Zinchenko miles off it at the moment.
That's what the thing is now. So the thing is now for you, these players, what did look good in a standout season for you, will get found out when the likes of Liverpool come good, when the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea, everyone else around you, when they come good, it then makes the players that you thought were really good look as average as what they actually are. Now, that's no disrespect to the Arsenal players, but the reality of the situation is you will get found out against these teams. Now, I like Arsenal. I think Saka's unbelievable. I can't really look around a team and say there's too many top players, but I think that game on the weekend, I'd fully expect Arsenal, regardless of how the goal winning, to get some result out of it if they were serious.
Come on, Max, what are you saying about that? Because your team's just got blathered there a bit. He said no one's that good, bar Saka, basically.
No, I don't mean no one's that good, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to look at a player in that team and say top class, I'd say Odegaard, but I say Odegaard does fall off for a little bit. But I think Saka's like the best player in their team by a country mile.
Saliba as well. Saliba's up there.
What about Martinelli?
I like Martinelli. I think he's one of them, though. I think he got an injury, didn't he? So he's sort of blew hot and cold since then. To be fair to him, he's got everything it takes, definitely. But I think a standout player, if you're going to say to me, who would you sign tomorrow? It's Saka.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpick there.
Max, is it a case of when these teams are at their best, you won't be that good? Is that what we have in that or not?
Say that again, sorry.
Is it a case of when other teams are back? Is it a case of when the other teams are backfire and Arsenal won't be as good as they have looked?
I don't know. Like, I think we've actually we've spunked a lot of money. We've spunked on 100 million.
Mike has banged on it.
We've spunked 100 million on Vieira, who's not looking good. Like, he was terrible when he came on. 67 million on Havertz. I mean, not looking great. Not looking great at all. Lokonga, that's another 20 million. When you look at that money, that's...
Was it? I thought he was an academy kid, me.
Who is he?
Albert Sambi Lokonga, currently on loan at Luton.
What?
Is he Luton or Palace? One of them. We signed him from Anderlecht last season. Dreadful. Not been good. Yeah. Not been good enough. So, and I do think like a lot of these conversations, like they do deflect away from Arteta. Wow, that's a bold one. That from Newcastle. Martinelli over Saka, apparently.
I'm a big Martinelli fan, but
I am
Yeah.
not Saka.
I do think a lot of this discussion and it kind of gets away from Arteta a little bit when we're complaining about the decisions. You know what I mean? Thank you, Mark. I thought he was at Luton.
Mike's massively on the ball, by the way. Get him on as the fourth man, yeah.
Yeah. So I do think like we've signed some bad players, and I don't know if it's going to come together at the moment. At the moment, I can't see it coming together. So I feel like we're top four. I feel like we're top four at the moment. I don't know if we're going to really mount a title charge from what I've seen so far this season.
Early though.
Spot on there, by the way. Did you see the Bruno elbow?
Yeah. By the way,
yeah.
of everything that Arteta complained about, I don't know whether he's more complaining about the goal, but I mean,
That's
I don't know.
the
Rob's in the comments, staunch Newcastle. You got to admit, you got to admit that Bruno, he's miles off it with thinking he should be on the pitch. Like,
there was a lot to digest in that game. No, I can understand why Arteta lost it.
Elbow to the head, push, jumping in at tackles, like
ball being out.
Just the elbow for me. The elbow was a red card.
Do you know what? Going back to it, yeah. I'm half and half with the foul on the line because I kind of feel like it was a Gabriel.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Gabriel ducks, but it's like he's ducking trying to flick it behind him type of defensive header because he can't really go anywhere else. I think from the cross, the keeper's a fucking joke again. He's absolutely hanging out of his ass on the edge of the 6-yard box. No idea why he's doing that again. His positioning, surely he's got to be questioned now. But I think Arteta has sort of fucked himself over. I said this last week, and I think I said it the week before. What he's done by bringing in another keeper and not getting rid of Ramsdale or telling Ramsdale, this is how it is, you're not going to be my number one. I think he's just making a bit of a tit out of both of them because they both look like they don't know where they stand. Raya looks like he's scared to make a mistake because he'll get dropped. And Ramsdale makes a mistake because he's not playing. He's got no confidence because Arteta's killed him in the public. Like, I don't know. With Arsenal, I kind of feel like the job will get the better of Arteta, and I think it will be a case of you'll get to a point and you do need to bring someone in with a more experienced CV if you want to be taken serious, especially after spending so much money.
Yeah.
Have a red card or not?
For me, yeah. I'm gonna go. Come on. For me, I think it's a typical orange card. You know what I mean?
I think it's an orange card as well.
It's more than a yellow, but it's not a red.
It's fucking daft, though, isn't it?
It's just a strong challenge. It's just right in front of the fans. I love it.
Listen, I would love
it's brilliant. You don't want to see people get sent off for that.
No, you don't. But you know what? I sound like that crying Liverpool fan again. But I look at the Curtis Jones one and I compare every single red card.
Rob, it wasn't an inch to the left.
I compare every tackle now.
It wasn't. Can you put
to Curtis Jones's one at where was that? Curtis Jones one?
Spurs.
Tottenham, sorry. Yeah, I compare every tackle to that. Now, if that's a red card, then a lot of them that have not been given out as well.
But
it was a game where I think in general that game there was a lot that got let go, and it did make for a good spectacle. But yeah, I mean, maybe a bit too much that got let go from.
Send them off. Send them off. He's shit anyway.
Yeah, it might have helped us. But yeah, I just feel like with Arsenal at the moment, there's a lot of square pegs in round holes. It feels like you know, it doesn't feel like we're quite there with it, and yeah, I can't really see us challenging at the moment if we can't get more positive results at games like that. Or, you know, if you're not even winning games like that, it's showing a performance where you are kind of cutting edge in front of goal. So
you're not going to beat the top teams with Nketiah up front. Simple. He's not like he can get an answer against the Sheffield United every week if he wants, but he doesn't cut it in a big game.
Well, I just feel like he's not really been given the service. I mean, did he have any chances?
It's not about chances though. I just feel like even if Jesus is playing, you'll ping it into him. He can hold it up, just get people involved. And
yeah, but I mean,
if he's just a poacher,
he must have had the ball a handful of times. Like, I mean, I'd judge if he's someone that's like knocking off, like if he's not scoring 2 or 3 chances, then I agree with you. And by the way, I'm not saying he absolutely is the answer, but I just feel like our Arsenal's problem at the moment is finding the striker and finding attacking players in good places. Like when Saka's getting the ball, it's like 30, 40 yards from goal the other day, and he's having to turn back and pass it. Like we're not finding players in those key areas.
But surely, if you can see that, then you've got to say, why the fuck's Arteta wasting money on Havertz when you need that? Like the obvious thing for Arsenal is a number 9, regardless of what he needed in the middle, what he needed out wide, what he needed at the back. You have struggled for a number 9 for how long? Nketiah is decent. I think he's decent. I've said it before.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to win you a league. And I think that's your problem. If you want to win leagues, then you can't have sympathy for Eddie Nketiah because he's a good player. You just need quality players. Like, he is, but he's not the next level for me.
I just don't think he brings enough to the game in a big game against a good team where it's like a battle and everything and he has to get involved. I think he's a good goal scorer, but not much else.
Ryan Brewster.
High level one of him.
I've said it. Yeah. I think he is.
So, I mean, just closing the lid on Arteta and his moan to the referee, the PGMOL, etc. It looks like that's going to go on a little bit. Arsenal released a statement. Like realistically, we're going to play Seville. We're playing another game on Saturday against Burnley. Like, what's the best case scenario that can really come from us complaining to the PGMOL about that?
There isn't one. It's just a bit boring.
Yeah,
it's a nip it in the bud now. Nothing can come of it. The game's done. End off.
I do feel like.
But what comes of it, Max? Sorry. Know what comes of it? You'll get a few decisions going like a bit favourable to you. It happened to Liverpool.
You think?
Yeah, it happened in the derby.
Maybe it's
here we go.
Maybe
that's what happens.
Maybe it's worth doing them.
And Liverpool get a few decisions. Simple. They'll happen
maybe it's worth doing them.
Who've you got next in the league?
Got Burnley on Saturday. So, I mean, Vincent Kompany right under fire at the moment.
Yeah, mate. Don't start making pre-excuses. You should murder them.
Yeah, you can't take games for granted, Max. Ask Dom.
That's the game where. That's the game where
Nketiah
should be running the show, mate. That's the game where you're expecting 2 or 3 goals out of him.
Burnley. We will. Let's see. Mark my words. Lovely segue that, John. To move on to Luton versus Liverpool.
Deals. Yeah.
Dom, it was a tricky one for you guys in Bedfordshire. You know, you thought it would be easily done, but no excuses. Or were you impressed by them, or were you just poor?
No, I think it's a bit of both. If any Liverpool fan comes in this chat and says they expected to murder them, then they haven't been watching Liverpool. Because listen, we should have beat them. I fully agree with that, definitely. But how many times do we go into them games over the years and just absolutely we're piss poor? We bring ourselves down to levels against teams like that. They were shit, and there's no excuse for the chances that we missed. On another day, them goals go in, and you know we're talking about 3 or 4-0 maybe. When that first goal doesn't come, I think everyone can think, and every Liverpool fan will say, the longer that game goes on, the less chance we're even in for a shout to win it, because when we don't score early, we make a proper pig's ear. Or we've had games where we've tired teams out, and in the second half we've kicked on. That was never going to happen against Luton. That was like we've said, that was their cup final. That was a massive game for them. Brought Liverpool to their ground. They never expected that in a million years. And we were piss poor. But again, the chances we missed, there's no excuse for them if they go in. It's an easy win, but it weren't to be.
Last question on Núñez. I think he's obviously looked sharp in the last couple of weeks. But are you concerned when, obviously he had his chance that he's got to be putting that away? Are you concerned of his ability to sometimes put away those kind of really easy opportunities?
I think his composure, he just really lacks composure in front of goal. Obviously, if you put that to someone else, maybe a Salah or a Diaz or a Jota, that's in the back of the net, that easy one. Yeah, or you, John, to be fair. But I think with him, he's like an excited Jack Russell. This is what I always say. He's like, his tail's wagging, he's always keen. He's keen as fuck. But then he's just got no sense of being able to be calm. Now, when he was through, I think it was a few minutes later, he gets through, someone plays it through behind, and he twats it, and it's flying in. Good save by the keeper. The good thing about him is what I'll say, he doesn't let his head go down. And I think that's the best thing you can get out of a player like him. He's missing so many chances, but at the same time, he'll keep going until he gets one. Unfortunately, he never got one on the weekend. I'm not worried by him. At the start of the season, I thought this is a big season for him, but if he hits 20 goals in all competitions, I'd say again, that's another building block onto him getting the best out of him. Let's not forget, 4 years he's had in top level, in professional football, in first team football. We've got to give him time, and I think we can all see from the player that we signed last season to the player now, he's already better. So you've got to stick by him.
I think with Liverpool fans especially, I think he gets away with me a little bit because he's mad and everyone loves position and updates and that.
He does.
If that was someone who was just a bit boring,
yeah,
I don't think he's being too at all, would you? But the
Not
fans love him because
he's a fighter.
Gets everyone off for stuff, doesn't he?
He's a fighter. He's quick. He's aggressive. He's smashing balls all over the place. He doesn't mind throwing himself into defenders. He's got all the attributes. He just needs to get that last bit of composure, and I think we've got a top player. I'm not concerned by him. I'm at the time when he's missing these chances, you're a bit like, for fuck's sake, of course you are, because it's costing us games. Let's be honest, it's costing us goals, it's costing us games. But no, fucking hell, I can't jump on the lad's neck. He's doing a good job, and he's better than he has been last season. So the more he builds on it, the better he'll get.
Spot on. I mean, with regards to Luton, John, I feel like, you know, when they were part of those three teams that came up, we were all saying these are the worst lot to ever come up ever. But it looks like Luton have got a bit more about them. Maybe we gave them credit for. Do you think we maybe wrote them off too soon? And guys in the comments, you know, do you think we've wrote Luton off too soon collectively, or do you think they're still going down? Get in the comments about that one.
I think they're going down. Like, I don't like them one bit. I hated watching them at Goodison. They beat us. They're awful, honestly. Like, they beat us though, so there's not much you can say. But even that game the other day, Nunes should score two. A couple of other people should score. Like, should get beat. But you know what? They've got a bit about them in a big game like that. They can get up for stuff. And they're unlucky not to win in the end, aren't they? So they'll pick up a couple of wins at home, but they're not going to get up for a game like that against Nottingham Forest at home, and they'll get beat by them because they're not very good. So I think they've got a few nights in them, but other than that, they're going down. Hopefully, anyway. I don't like them. Don't like the fans. Don't like Nottingham.
I want them to go down on the basis of them being fucking rats in that stadium on the weekend. So listen, there's teams what have been at Anfield, and we've been away to them last year, and it was horrendous. And it's got better as the season went on last season, and as the season started. We haven't heard much of it from away fans or being away.
For people that aren't aware, could you explain what you mean?
Yeah, so obviously, listen, whether people say they're not referring to Hillsborough or Heysel or whatever they want to refer to, it's a load of me ass. You should be educated by the people that take you the game from a young age. You can't come out and say singing Always the Victims is not related to Hillsborough. It's not related to Heysel. It's not related to anything like that. Because at the end of the day, it's bullshit. And if you don't know what you're singing, why are you singing it?
Do you know, on what you're about to say, what you've just said there, though, you do just sing songs in the game. I reckon 70% of people know what it's about. Some don't. I've been a kid at Everton and I heard that and probably sang it when I was little. And then you grow up and then you see people fuming and tell you why you sing it and you go, yeah, but
that's my point, though. So, especially in Everton.
I'm just imagining like some woman at the Luton game the other day, the crowd are all singing this song, she probably joined in, doesn't know what it's about. That's what I imagine.
I know, but like I've said there, it then takes people around you to take the moral fucking high ground and say, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why is it that they've come out and said a minority of their fans? A minority of their fans isn't three stands. That's not a minority at all. So they're just as bad. By the way, the club had the chance to come out and make a stance about it. The club had the chance to come out and say like what they actually feel and what they actually want done about it. But did they fuck? Yeah. They've absolutely flapped it. I hope they go down. I hope they go down again, and into liquidation. Horrible.
That's what I said 2 weeks ago. Hope they liquidate. So we're on board.
Oh, fucking hell, I agree with Blue. I hope they win the Champions League.
Well, Luton aside, I mean, we'll maybe be talking about them again soon.
Hopefully not. Shit,
Liverpool, Brentford on Sunday, I believe it is. I mean, to be honest, I feel like that might be a tough game for you, Dom. I feel like I feel like they could hit you on the break, like similarly to they did Chelsea. Yeah. It might be a tricky one for you. Do you think they could hurt you on the break?
Definitely. I think anyone can hurt us on the break, to be honest with you. As we know, McAllister isn't the number 6 that we want or need. McAllister's more a forward player. So I think now we need to just swerve that idea. We either play McAllister in where his actual position is, or we don't play him, because I think it's not making his games any better. It's not giving him any more confidence, and it's also looking at the bench and saying, what the fuck have you bought Endo for? Is it just cup competitions? You've got to play a natural 6. If you play a natural 6 and they can cover in the defence either side, you've got a chance. But right now, I think Brentford are a bit of a terrifying opposition, to be fair, on the counter-attack. I think they're lethal. They don't miss many chances.
And
it's out wide as well, isn't it? And think about
the
Luton
really
goal.
Good out wide.
Think
really
about the
good.
Luton goal that come all the way down the right on a brace.
Really good. Mate, and we've got Tsimikas there, and let's not beat around the bush. He's fucking pony.
He played Joe Gomez left back. That's how
I know. But he's not going to against Brentford. He'll play Tsimikas. Joe Gomez is not the answer either on the left. No, definitely not. He's probably not even the best of a bad bunch. I'm worried about them on the counter. Yeah, but we owe a massive performance after Luton. There's no excuse for not beating them on the weekend. We need to get another 3 points. We can't afford to drop any more yet.
Anfield's a bit of a different ball game, isn't it?
Different ball game, but again, Brentford they're not scared. They don't care about where they play. That's what I like about them, and it's weird to say that about some other teams. But you've got to put your fucking neutral head on sometimes. They're a decent team. They're a good team to watch, and they score a lot of goals, but they also concede a lot of goals. So it's up to us to hurt them on the weekend. We've got to.
Yeah, and Buemo's flying for them, isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. I've got him in my fantasy team. What a guy!
Seems to be scoring every week.
Therefore, they're a lot more hit and miss this season than last season, though. Without Tottenham, like we went and dominated that Brentford. That doesn't happen.
No, definitely not.
And they've just got a bit of weirdness about them this year. I don't really like them.
Mike's bang on the money.
They've won their last 3.
Yeah, they picked up the form, haven't they? But
yeah, of course, because that's what happens when they play Liverpool, mate. Every team that plays Liverpool comes into a bit of form all the fucking time.
No, I think he'll deal with them comfy, mate, on whatever day it is.
I hope so. But yeah, Mike, I completely agree with you there, mate. I think we need to fit a goal in the first 20 in every game, to be honest, because the longer it goes on, the more frustrated we get.
John, you had the Seagulls come and visit Goodison Park last weekend. How do you reflect on that one? Obviously, took the lead 1-0 through Mikalenko.
Yeah.
Are you frustrated not to take 3 points? Obviously, a good side that you're hosting, so...
Yeah, there's probably a couple of reasons why you're frustrated in the end, but before it, you probably take a draw against Brighton, even though we're in good form. Brighton are a top team, so the last couple of seasons been used to when teams like that come to Goodison. We get rolled over against quite good teams. They beat us easily, so it's nice that isn't happening anymore, and we're able to just not beat that little whipping boy team for a bit. It's nice, but yeah, strange game because we scored early, so we sort of just scored and then let the onus be on them to break us down. But the stats look weird and it's like, oh, they had 80% of the ball, but we ain't that type of game, really. We had more shots than them, more shots on goal. We done everything impactful in the game, really. They weren't really up to much, and it took a wicked deflection on goal, which I've never heard many people talk about it, but I feel like Pickford should save the goal as well, which is frustrating again.
Yeah, well, it's them little arms.
He has a little flap at it. I hate the little arm shots as well, me, but like... I don't know.
If he had bigger arms,
save it.
He saved it.
No, I don't think it's anything to do with that, though. I feel like the ball deflects, and then I watch it, he's staring at the ball like this for like 3 seconds, and then it's over his head and he reacts. It's not like him.
It's a really late reaction,
but that's the opposite to what he's like. That's what he's good at. Fast reactions and mad little erratic saves, and I feel like 9 times out of 10 that doesn't go in with him, so a bit frustrating.
Ashley Young's had a nightmare the last few weeks.
I know, that one's annoying, like, because it's not his fault.
It's just pure bad luck.
Yeah, he had a good game again, to be fair. I was a bit like, what's Patterson done against West Ham to not start the next league game? Then Ashley Young done all right with Matoma, to be fair to him.
Did you see his tweet?
Quality
Did you see
player.
His tweet? Ashley Young's tweet.
What was it?
When he'd scored in the League Cup.
No?
What was it?
It was like RIP to the chairman, like great guy, etc. And then in the same tweet, it was like cheeky poachers finished. It was like, and it was
R.I.P. Bill, but it's all about me.
yeah. It was very good, very good.
So, on the game, like, it's probably a fair result based on they had all the ball. We were just on, and we were happy to hang on for the win. To be fair, because we're winning. Why wouldn't you be? But yeah, the draw's not the worst result. But
yeah, but John, let's look at it in the other note as well. From a week, you'd have took, I think, what 4 points and a cup game and a cup win. You'd have took that all day.
Oh, listen, we just look like a solid team again. We look like the team we should be, like around mid-table, just hopefully pushing for like 8th and 7th. Like that's what we should be. We haven't really got the quality for that right now, but we look solid enough to be competing, which is all we can ask for, really.
Defo.
Dyche bit cliche, but the man just gets it, doesn't he?
He does get it, but I just like everything about him, honestly. Like,
he gets it. He gets it.
I suppose he gets it, mate. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, he's just got players working hard and being not. Honestly, I've watched players be half-assed for 2-3 seasons, and it's shown. You can't afford to be like that. The league's too good. I know we say there's some bad teams, but the minute you're off it a bit, you get beat in the Prem. Simple. And our players have been off it for 2 years. Bad attitude, everything, and he's come in, eradicated it all. I thought we'd miss a Wobie defo for a bit of creativity, even though I don't love a Wobie, but creative-wise, I was thinking, but yeah, we haven't got anyone in creative really, and we don't miss him one bit.
What did he leave for? Because he doesn't even play for Fulham.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Gray were like best mates. They both left.
No, he's been on the bench.
So he's on the bench all the time. Yeah, he might have started the last game, but
it's not a bad club to play for Fulham.
It's not, but let's be honest about this situation. He's a bigger club.
We had to cash it in a bit.
He's a London man, isn't he?
Especially in our condition, we needed a bit of money. But
was he on daft? Was he one of the ones that come in on the daft wages?
I don't think he was on mad wages, no. But the contract was up, so it's either get nothing for him or get a few mil, and we don't miss him, so it's a win-win, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Got Palace at the weekend, John. I mean,
by the way, Mikalenko as well getting a goal. I had him written off as a bad player last season and the season before. Whenever he came, I thought he can half defend, but honestly, sometimes I watch him and think, you can't be a footballer, you can't pass the ball or nothing. And it just shows what confidence does for a player. He's flying defensively, one-on-one with top players in the league. He's flying. Now he's getting in the box and scoring. So, made up with him. Who are we playing? Sorry, Palace.
Palace at the weekend, yeah.
Palace away.
Yeah, I mean, those sort of games are showing if you've really turned the corner, you'll get something out of that. But
just get something out of it, yeah. Like I'd take a draw.
Horrible game, though, isn't it?
Horrible game.
I just can't see us going and like.
That's nowhere near a TV slot, is it?
No, is it shite? Do you know? I think we'll win. There you go.
Yeah. What are you going for?
Score.
Yeah.
2-1 Everton.
2-1 or 1-0. They're the only scores I ever think with Everton. We either score and hold on, or it's a 2-1.
It's a low-scoring game against the Rio Janeiro. You murder them. It's one or the other.
Guys in the comments, feel free to drop in. You know, how will Everton get on in the most boring game of all time?
Mike is on the case.
They'll beat Palace. Mike is on the case.
Thanks, Mike. Good mate of mine.
Right. Next one, guys. As we love talking about them, and they love talking about themselves. Manchester United.
Well, I've invited Jack, so I don't know if Jack's jumping in or what. I've sent you the email, so get involved if you want to get involved, lad.
Manchester United. So off the hook, Eric off the hook of a late winner against Fulham. Bruno Fernandes amongst the goals. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that one, but they were less than inspiring. They weren't too inspiring with their performance. I mean, Dom, did you manage to catch that one, or did you give it a miss?
No, do you know what? I put it on because it was the early kickoff, wasn't it? And I was half, to be honest with you, I was half expecting Fulham to get a result just because of how shit United are.
I think a few tuned in for that exact reason.
But on the plus side of things, I'm glad Man United got a result because that keeps Ten Hag in a job for another week.
Yeah.
Listen, they should be beating teams like that regardless of how bad they are. They've got the players to beat them, and that's the reality of the situation. They're a better team than Fulham. They should be higher than where they are. I can't fucking stand them. But they've got better individuals, and they should be going to Fulham and beating them. It's as simple as that.
And that's the only reason they won, innit? Nothing to do with United being well. They're not coached well. Bruno Fernandes is a good player and scored a good goal, and that's it. And you're going to get away with a few games like that.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. What we saying, fellas?
Jackie boy.
Good, mate.
It's been time for you, son. So talk to us about the Fulham game then. Give us your assessment.
Fulham. Well, to be fair, we'll start with Newcastle because that was on the Wednesday night, wasn't it? So that's the worst place to start, to be honest. With Fulham, miles better than the past couple of weeks anyway. Newcastle was probably as bad as I've seen it, other than Copenhagen at home. I was not impressed with that at all. But I just think, when I seen it on Sunday, Maguire was our best player until he come off at 60 minutes. Was without a doubt the best player, which I think he's got a run of games in him now. I think he's going to stay in that team till the end of the season. In my opinion, anyway. I don't think Varane's got the fitness or legs to stay in it. And I think with any good team, I mean, we're no different to him. He starts with the defence, and our defence has been hammered with injuries from the start of the season. We've got Shaw, who's probably our most influential player going forward, with Rashford down the left. Rashford's just horrific without him. It's like he's lost exactly what he does on that left side. You think a lot of our ball play goes down that left side, doesn't it? When you do what? Do you think
Rashford's taking a lot of shit then? Where
he's been absolutely dog shit this season. If you compare him to last season, and you think he's bagged himself 30 goals across the season. Did he finish on 17 in the league? I think it was, which was a record for him. This season, he's been fucking dog shit. And people can say, it's about his contract and stuff like that. It's nothing to do with the contract. It's nothing to do with he's got a payday and all of a sudden he's just hung his boots up. Because then the day, I don't know if anyone seen him watching for England with Italy. Mate, it was different. He had a good game. Yeah. He looked effective. I just think that United team, without a decent left-back behind him, I think he's shot with it, mate. I think he tries to do a bit too much on his own, and we've had Amrabat there. Molasses obviously been injured. Shaw's not there. Dalot, when he plays there, you basically play with three at the back when he plays there because he's absolutely useless on the left side. So yeah, I don't think he's getting too much stick, but I don't think it's anything to do with the contract and what people are saying and stuff like that. I did think last week that potentially the old Sancho thing might have had. When I was listening to this, you were saying about the dressing room. You feel like he might have lost a dressing room tonight. I don't think he's lost a dressing room, but I do think the Sancho thing will play on people's minds, like Rashford, for example. Definitely.
Jack,
what did you think of the Newcastle game?
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, boys.
What did you think of the Newcastle game then? What went wrong?
Oh, fucking hell. Where do you even start with that? Midfield, Joe Willock looked like being prime Kaka against us last week. Absolutely running through that midfield like there was nothing there. And I actually don't mind Joe Willock, actually. I think he's actually a decent player. But it was non-existent, wasn't it? It's too easy. And at the end of the day, we're at home. And it's not like we went to St. James's Park. We're at home there. And I fully thought when I seen the teams, because they had a weakened team as well. I seen that Rashford was dropped, and it was similar to the team that we played in Palace when we played them in the last round. I thought, right, we're going to get a result here. Just humbled in about sort of 15, 20 minutes. Work rate wasn't there. Dalot again. He come off actually in the second half, I think it was, but he was horrific down that left side, and they just down the right side, and they just targeted it. And I think Andy Gordon who started, wasn't it, on that left side for him. He's having a very good season. John, in fact, I'll actually ask you this, being an Everton fan. I watched him for Everton when he was linked with Chelsea, because I've got a Chelsea fan. He was linked with him. And when I seen a fee, was it Lampard who was at Chelsea at the time, wasn't it?
No, we live in our manager, probably.
Yeah, who tried to sign him for Chelsea for about 50, 60 million. I remember that room being out and about, and I was fucking pissing myself thinking, who the fuck is paying that for him?
So was I, lad. I was made up.
But obviously now, he looks like he's getting a bit of form, and I think he's one of their best players, to be honest. And he certainly does last week anyway.
He's definitely strange one at Everton. Used to watch him sometimes, and you could see glimpses, but on the whole, I just didn't really like him.
Well, Did you watch him in Euros for the under-21s?
Yeah, I've seen bits of him. He had a good pre-season, like with that, didn't he? He was like one of the main men for England. And Jones and that centre mid.
Jack, just on that then. Obviously, you're going to rotate in the cups and that, and obviously you're out of that one now. But how the fuck's Anthony Martial a professional footballer?
What was that stat last week? He scored 83 goals in 9 seasons. Oh, hell, mate. Fuck knows. But you got to. When he got sent out on loan to Sevilla, we obviously thought we might get rid of him that summer. But I think other teams obviously seen. I don't understand where the trust comes from with Ten Hag with him, because he seems to like him, and I don't know what it is he likes about him. Whether because he can hold the ball up pretty well and he can get in. He links up well sometimes with Rashford on that left side, but I honestly don't have a clue what he sees in him. But I don't think we're going to be able to sell him. I honestly don't think any team in Europe. 300k, I think, a week it is.
That's what he's on.
Yeah, something like that. Well, Ollie signed him. Ollie nailed him on that 6-year deal, which is one of the worst things he ever did. Because in lockdown, obviously, we had that run of games where, well, in fact, we finished second in that lockdown season, actually, I think it was. Oh, no. Well, we had a good run anyway in 2020, and he was scoring goals. And Ollie nailed him on a 5-6 year deal for about 280k a week. And I remember thinking at the time, what are we doing here with this? Because just going back to that, what I was saying about Dalot, I remember when Ollie come in, just after Jose, we needed a right back, a centre-back, a centre-mid, a right winger, and a striker.
And the whole team.
Yeah, fucking hell, pretty much, mate. But you know, think about how much money we spent. We need exactly the same now. We still need a right back. Varane going in. Because I've said today, potentially January, they might even try and look and ship him off in January to Saudi, maybe. But you definitely need a new centre-back, 100%, because Lindelof's been there since Mourinho. Same as that's 2017, 6 years that, and I don't think he's good enough for us.
Hasn't he just got a new deal as well?
I think he might have signed like a 2-3 year deal, yeah. But I mean, it's certainly not a long-term deal, but he's not good enough anyway to be starting. And after, like I say, one injury, I put in the chat last week, only takes a couple of injuries, and we're back to the same back four, which was the start of Ollie, just back end of Mourinho. So, yeah. Martial. I think he's might finish next January, I believe. I think. So,
go on, Matt.
Sorry, mate. I was going to just say, with Ten Hag, how do you see that one playing out, like best case scenario? Because it just feels like, I know he was saying that I mean, the Sancho stuff, I think he's been kicked out of the WhatsApp group I'm hearing recently.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
He's got to eat his canteen. He's got to eat his food. He's not allowed to eat his food in the canteen. He's got to walk it to the academy and eat it there. Like, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of talk about United. Oh, we need a left back. We need this. We need that. But a lot of these players, you know, Erik Ten Hag has signed himself, and we do love kind of, you know, Gary Neville loves kind of relating everything back to the Glazers. But how much, and you know, we see Anthony this season, like, was he no goals or assists this season? Like, do you put a bit of blame on Ten Hag for these signings that he's brought in?
Well, yeah, definitely, mate. I think obviously if you look at his signings, the only decent signing that we've had, and in my opinion, is Højlund. And Casemiro still goes on as a good signing for me, because regardless of his age, we needed a number 6.
Yeah.
And last season, he was without doubt our best player, in my opinion. Anyway, other than Rashford being, you know, effective in the games where he won it for us, Casemiro was the most consistent player, and he had big moments for us, like the cup final against Newcastle. You know, he grabbed us a goal there. He grabbed the goal against Barcelona in the first leg as well. You know, so yeah, I think other than that, I think the money he spent's been pretty much awful, to be honest. But I seen Gary Neville actually said something that we're the only club, I think, in the top 30 clubs in the world that haven't got a sporting director. So, you know, looking at it from the outside, you think, how much of a sporting director can make a difference? But the fact that Ten Hag's had all the control over this amount of money that's been spent is exactly why we need a sporting director. Because he's been at was it FC 20's first club. There's another Dutch one, is FC Utrecht, I think it was, and then obviously Ajax there. It's all right being sort of managers there, them clubs, and having, you know, you've got Van der Sar there, who's been sort of looking over a lot of the business side of things at Ajax. coming in and having that amount of money, it's like an unlimited kitty of cash at the start, isn't it, with United? So he's had that, and I don't think he's spent it well, but he's got with players that he's coached before, and then that he thinks he can rely on. But you know, Anthony, one of the worst players. Honestly, I fucking can't stand him. He's a rodent. The sooner we get rid of him,
rodent.
This is it. So I look at you, right, and I just look around the pitch and I think there's so many bad apples in the team and in the squad. You're never going to get out of it until you ditch that whole.
But just say the Sancho thing though. So obviously, this whole thing about he coming in and did I think the Ronaldo thing was the right thing to do. Obviously, don't get me wrong. He's one of our best. He's the best ever player, you know, technical wise to play at United. Obviously, it didn't work out when he come back, but it was the right thing. We was a better team before he come. Although he scored all them goals, we were playing a lot better before he come into that team that season before. So, you know, it was the right thing to do, going back out of there. But I think the way that he's just dealt with this side of thing, I think there's just younger players on that team which will side with Sancho. Like Rashford will probably be stuck 50-50 because he's a Boyhood United fan and he's, you know, just signed this big contract. But in the back of his head, he's probably knocking about with Sancho on a weekend and hearing what Sancho's side of things, and he's got to train with the players being kicked out. He's got to eat on his own and stuff like that. So he's probably has seen his ass and stuff like that. But what you meant to do? He's not like what's Jadon Sancho ever wanted at United? What's he ever done for us to get any treatment where them players should be thinking like, oh, he doesn't deserve to be doing that? Because I don't know what you think, but what did he say bad to Nag in that press conference after the Arsenal game? He said he wasn't picked. That's all he said. Is there anything wrong with that?
Something, wasn't it? Oh, I can't remember. It was being fit or standards or
just said he didn't train well enough, and that was it. So
I feel like it could have been a storm in a teacup. He didn't need to then go and write a tweet on his notes, did he?
Yeah, but mate, at the end of the day, he's the manager. He's the manager, and he's. I
mean, Sancho didn't need to.
Off last year, didn't he? He said to him last year, "Look, we'll protect you. We'll send you off to this training camp. We won't say anything about what's going on in your head or why you need this time off." He's obviously given him a number of chances when he's come back. This is probably the last thing he's thought. I don't know what else to do here. Try and get a reaction out of him.
Well, I spoke to someone on this. So I done a podcast with Kevin Atchard. He's a commentator for the Bundesliga, and he said when he was at Dortmund, he was a problem at Dortmund. He was continuously late for training. He was having discipline issues left, right, and centre. And then when he goes to his first England meetup, he was late for his first meeting for England as well. So you can probably understand the frustration from Ten Hag, but I think the thing is, you should be doing like a due diligence on these players before you sign them. You should look into the background. You should ask people how they are outside of the game and what they're like getting to training and stuff. So you just can't keep repeating this process and then having the same argument as well, because I think so many managers are being shagged up the arse by United basically and fucked off. It's just a revolving door for them, innit? There's only so long you can blame the manager. You've got to look at the players, but again, I don't think he's done himself any justice signing these players. Is that Anthony?
Jack, you know, with Anthony and Ten Hag signed them, does that make you think, like, are you the part of Ten Hag or what? Because why do you like him or do you...
Well, I seen the topic where he's like, please carry on winning, we'll stay longer. So I thought, cheeky bastards. But look, like, obviously, everyone's saying like, oh, a few of my lot were saying, oh, is it the final nails in a coffin for him that he's going to be going? Mate, I tell you now, there is not a chance he goes for the end of the season like this year. Because last year, I think it was from December to March, I think we lost 1 in 25. So it's not that he can't get it out of these players. We had a decent season where it was the year before. It hasn't gone well this season. The signings haven't been great. But what was Arteta's first 3 seasons like? I mean, Max, obviously, you all know. What is it, 8th, and then 6th?
Yeah, 8th, and
Mate, it does take time. And like you just said then, Don, we can't just keep repeating the process with signings. You can't do it with managers or either. So I think we had to sign Amrabat on loan because we were that bad on financial fair play. So if we sack a manager, it's not like they've got a shitload of money to go and get a load of new players in. They'll get obviously a kitty of probably will get another 200 million, but the fact we've had to sign Amrabat on loan, another 25 million in summer is going to come out of that. So,
do you know what though, Jack? Just on it, right? How many times are you going to like look at it and think, what's our game plan? So I've seen his conversation where he said, I can't play the way I played at Ajax. I think that's a bit of a kick up the arse for players in general, because that tells you that he hasn't got the players that can play the way he wants. But when I watches, I don't actually understand what the game plan is. Now, that might be down to injuries, like you've said, with the likes of Luke Shaw and stuff. You play from the back, you play from Luke Shaw, who's probably one of your better players, and that's how you build up from Shaw and Rashford on the left, and maybe someone in midfield. But what's his game plan? I don't see it.
If you're not at the start of last season, we got hammered off Brentford. Well, we got beat off Brighton 2-1. We got hammered off Brentford 4-0. And he tried to do that. They say it was the Ajax system where he was dropping Eriksen in, and that's why he was saying we needed a 6 to come in and do it and to play it instead. But he just reverted back to playing more direct, and that worked for us last season. What I think he did wrong this summer, and I knew he had to do it at one point, I don't think we should have got rid of the keeper this summer, mate, personally. I don't think it was the right time to get in Onana and start playing from the back, because he said in his pre-press conference last week that he hasn't got the players to play the Ajax way, and he's trying to still integrate playing from the back, but we're going direct when it needs to be, whether it's to Højlund, whether it's to Rashford, whether it's to Bruno, and it's fine doing that, but I think the reason why we've not got a style of play is because they're trying both. And it's like, it's either one or the other, in my opinion. I don't think we've not got the players to do this thing of take-a-tacker at the back or go short. Because, like I say, the same players that are playing and the same players, for example, Lindelof, or I don't think Maguire can't not play in that, because I think for England, we play from the back a lot of the time and he plays in that fine. Yeah, he's got Stones next to him, who's a miles better centre-back than anyone that we've got. But I just don't think we've got the right players, and we should have sorted out that first, rather than going for Onana and swapping in, personally. Because, boys, you just fucking give me your opinion on Onana here.
Ones.
I've never seen a keeper, right, like his positioning, right, even like when he's diving and the ball goes wide, mate, he's diving from the complete opposite side of the net. And I think
how many times?
Fundamentals of a goalkeeper are not good. They are not good.
How many times does he do like a slow-mo dive backwards?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like a pro club keeper.
What about that one against what was the goal? Galatasaray.
Galatasaray
squad. Mate, I am. Oh, it was like someone was pressing pause and play on the remote each time, and it was just. Mate, it's fucking shocking. But yeah, just going back to the thing with Ten Hag, I don't think the right thing is to sack him. I think you've got to stick with it, and I think you've just got to let players like Martinez come back in. Well, he's not back till after New Year, they've said now. I think he will change it for us as well. I think Shaw will help, but they need to get the forward scoring, and I just think, I don't know, playing Bruno on the right every now and again is not helping that. Do you know what I mean? And Bruno scored on the weekend, obviously, but he's not been playing well.
The best thing about this conversation has been we've had a conversation about United without mentioning the Glazers once. Thank fuck for that.
I don't know how we've done that. Just on Bruno, are you obviously he was getting a lot of flack last week?
Yeah.
From Roy Keane saying he shouldn't be captain anymore. Scored the goal at the weekend, got you through with the win. Do you think it was kind of fans were maybe a bit wrong to write him off for saying that? Do you think he is captain material for United? Yeah. Are you happy with him being your captain?
I've got to respect what Keane says a lot of the time. I mean, mate, I'm a massive Red, so I'm not going to judge what one of our if not our greatest captains saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got a good judge of character. But how many times has Roy Keane been wrong about stuff that he said on Sky Sports? Like, he's been wrong a lot of times. So I don't think there was anyone. Maguire had to get shit because he wasn't playing, obviously. If De Gea was still there, I would have given De Gea personally for another season, because he was going to go eventually. But then De Gea went, so then you just give it next after that. Bruno is the only option. And people can say, like, obviously, about him moaning and stuff like that. He does moan a lot, but that's what these Portuguese players do. That's just in there. That's in their nature to flap their arms and stuff like that. And especially when you're someone like him who is pretty much carrying the team in numbers in terms of assists and goals for us in the last couple of seasons. He's got the right to do that, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad appointment appointing Bruno as captain, but he does need to do more, obviously.
Do you think Rashford's seen his ass because Bruno got the captaincy?
Maybe, mate. Yeah, maybe. I think he was hoping that'd be his next step in his United career. I mean, what is he now? 26,
Yeah.
25, 26. So I think he was hoping that potentially that could have been his next thing. But you know, there's still time for that with Rashford. I mean, if he's saying he's not going anywhere, but he needs to be putting in a season like last season. He can't have one season and expect to be front runner for captain. No way.
There's only so long. Sorry, John. There's only so long these players can be. I mean, I keep hearing Rashford. I still hear this. Rashford's got potential. Jesse Lingard's had potential for 20 years, mate.
He's still young, isn't he, lad?
You
can't
just be like a top player either, like you said, like having another 30 season and be captain. You can't just be a captain. Some people just aren't.
No.
He seems a bit like quiet and timid to me, so I just would never have fancied.
The thing is, though, John, we're not signing players who have got the character to be a captain, no, and that's again another thing. Which
what's that Amrabat like?
I mean, I watched him in the World Cup, and he had a decent World Cup, and then the other time I watched him was in the Europa League, Europa Conference final against West Ham. And he got about the pitch pretty well, so you're pretty much going in blind with him. I mean, I don't know if anyone here watches Serie A football week in and week out, but I don't. I've got better things to do in my life than me watching that.
I thought like he looks like a top signing in based on the World Cup and stuff, but I don't feel like I've heard of him being very good or whatever.
Can I be honest on that one now? This is not disrespectful to Man United, by the way, Jack, but if he was as good as what everyone made out, do you think he'd have went to United on loan?
Yeah, but he only went on loan because of the financial fair play side.
I mean, in terms of, do you think other clubs would have been sniffing around? Because a lot of clubs were after the 6.
Apparently, he said no to Liverpool, so Dom. So I don't know if do you believe that? Because that's what apparently the room was, that they went in for him before grabbing back, and then said apparently he just said no, he's waiting for United. Look, he's got potential. He has got potential because when he's played, he has had a few good games for us. But I mean, he's back injured again now. So is this going to be one of the things he's not going to get to win a game? So
United have still got massive pull for players, surely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Pull on players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wouldn't take anything from them going to United.
I'm the first. I'll never shy away from the fact that we spend more money than pretty much anyone. Do you know what I mean? And that pretty much ain't going to change. But I think it's the one thing that we need to not doing is getting another manager in again, because I think if we stick with him now, and there's a lot of time left in the season at the end of the day. I think obviously we've got Luton on the weekend. That should be 3 points for us, touch wood. Do you know what I mean? But the first game obviously is tomorrow in Copenhagen. Our season could pretty much be over in terms of trophies if we don't get, in terms of having like a back end of the start of the new year as well. In terms of something to fight for. Obviously, the main thing for us is qualifying around that Champions League group now before Christmas. We have to get through that. And I think if we win tomorrow, Bayern are at home to Galatasaray, and then it's in our hands then. So that's obviously before Luton. But I think there's a lot of time for him to turn it around. I just think he needs to get players back in personally for me.
Well, last question then, Jack, for you. Where's acceptable for Man United to finish the season, and what's acceptable?
First? No. I mean, obviously at the start of the season, I would have said top 3, but now, I've got to be realistic with it at the end of the day. I think we're 8 points off top 4 now. I think it is. Newcastle, obviously, have just done a job on us. I think we've got to play them twice in the league. Yeah, so look, I was obviously, I'm going to say 4th, Arno, because I still think there's a lot of time left in it. And, you've been talking about Tottenham as well at the start of the show. They've had massive injuries with Van der Ven. I think that's a massive loss for them, that, mate.
It's only 6 points, by the way.
Is that what it is, 6?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not too far off, is it? But the thing is with us, again, we don't know what you're going to get with us. We don't know if we're going to put a run together. So I'm going to go 4th. I'd be disappointed if we were anything lower than 6, and that's on a horrific season. That's an horrific season by our standards. So I'm going to go 4th, Dom. We'll revisit it, and I could be crying. We're crying next time on it.
One last one for you, Jack, actually, if it's right. Obviously, Marcus Rashford, after the Manchester derby, he was seen to be going out China Whites in Manchester. How did you, there was a big debate, I don't know if you saw it, with Clinton Morrison and Paul Merson on Sky Sports News saying, what can you do as a professional? You know, are you entitled to a meal out? Are you entitled to a night out? Maybe one in the comments for everyone. Like after a Manchester derby, you know, are you having? Firstly, I think we'd agree that going out a night out is unacceptable. But how would you feel about him going for a meal out?
I mean, I just don't get where the publicity even comes from with that. That is prime example of mainstream media looking to create a story that at the end of the day, football could do what they want. If they, I seen the thing about the China White thing. I was thinking, so if he's staying at home till 2 o'clock, well, they won't make a story about that though, would they? Or he's in someone's back garden until 2 o'clock. But just because he's been seen out, don't mean he was on the booze and that, does he? So no, I just think it's just mainstream media, mate. And you know, I'm not just saying this is United fan, but we get absolutely hammered with, oh, this is happening at United, or this is just because it's a clickbait story, isn't it? At the end of the day, it does get people pulled in. So yeah, no, don't read too much into it, mate. You can do what you want on weekends. I don't think we're really asked at fucking home watching him anyway. So yeah.
Well, I didn't bite too much of that, so all good. Jack, thank you for coming on.
Take it easy, fella.
Everything Manchester United will come to you again, I'm sure. There'll be another scandal soon. So
nice one,
cheers. Wow, that was a breath of fresh air.
Manx are all right, aren't they?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, he's a proper one as well.
Yeah, it sounded.
What's next?
Harry Kane.
No, fuck him. Move on.
Doku for Man City. Move on. I mean, we don't need to go over too much, but he's flying, isn't he?
I'm having him. I think he's a heavy player.
Serious player. Serious. Just old school as well, like what you want to watch, innit? As I was getting back to earlier, like footy's boring and dull now, and it's the Grealishes that it is, like, keep it, go back, keep it, keep doing that. Yeah, I know, but that's every coach nowadays trying it. Most of them, they're all trying to have all sort of control, and he's just not like that. He's a bit of chaos, and that's what we all like to watch.
Very Sadio Mane left wing type,
but better probably. May not score as many goals, but
dirty blue nose.
Flying. Can't say anything other than that. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many he ends up with at the end of the season, but it could be a great first season for him. I mean, I feel like if you're any winger going into that team, you're going to get goals and assists. So
definitely,
judge it by. I mean,
Grealish doesn't.
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't even call him a winger. I'd say he's very Sancho-esque. He's a wide midfielder. He's not got nothing else. That's really our last comment, but he's a wide midfielder. He hasn't got the pace. He's not as direct as you want from your wingers. He's not as exciting as you want. I think the hype is sort of rubbing off on the Grealish thing now from last year. If you remember last year, he was like the next Gaza. He was next this, next that. I think going to Man City, as much as he's going to win trophies and that, I don't think he's going to fulfill what we all expected.
Great.
In my opinion.
He's all right.
We don't need to dwell too much on Harry Kane, but maybe just to mention scoring in a hat-trick in the Dortmund derby. Seems to be
Max, what position do you play? What position do you play in footy?
Centre-half.
So you're a centre-half. John, what about you?
Up front.
Right, John, you bag a hat-trick in that fucking Bundesliga. Anyway, next.
They beat Newcastle, didn't they? Rob's still here in the comments.
Dortmund, yeah, decent side.
Dortmund,
good thing.
home and away now.
No, they are. But listen, Harry Kane used every bit of experience and every bit of fucking nous that he had and matched himself up against Matt Hummels. He made himself look like Darwin Núñez with pace against Matt Hummels because I'm quicker than him.
Do you know that halfway line goal he scored?
Yeah.
Is that the best one you've seen or not? It's the best one I've seen, I reckon. Like, it goes in just below the bar. The keeper, I reckon most halfway line goals you see, the keeper saves that in that game. He was close, and it was that good. It went in. I loved it, mate.
I hate Harry Kane.
We've got to move on from Harry Kane before Dom moves on from this podcast. Just rolling over the weekly bet. I mean, frustrating again. The Wayne Rooney tale of misery came to an end, and he got his first win. So,
that was always going to happen.
He drew.
Yeah, that was always going to happen. By the way,
they were 2-0 up, and they drew. So
I've won every week.
For fuck's sake, man.
Are we having it this week? Are we putting one on?
The main man's not here, is he? But we can pick one if you want.
I mean, his Woog's in the comment. I mean, his draw didn't come through, but
it did.
Woog's, if you did it? No,
his draw was a draw.
I think it had Arsenal Newcastle.
No, he started with that and then decided not to do that.
Changed it to like
Huddersfield, Watford.
Yeah, it was 0-0.
He's a draw wizard. Before. Yeah, he knows his stuff, doesn't he, about his draws? Well, Woogs, if you're in the comments, chuck us something in. But
run through the fixtures quickly in the Premier League on the weekend.
Yeah, it's got to be Saturday 3 o'clock. So we've got Arsenal, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Everton, Man United, Luton. They're the 3 o'clocks. There's quite a lot.
Who's putting it on this week?
I'll have Man United -1 this week.
Ooh.
Easy.
I'm going Everton score and win.
Woof.
Why the fuck have I just done that?
Come on, the Toffees. The biggest 0-0 game you've ever seen now.
I know, but the thing is, it's a win-win for us, isn't it? Because if you get beat or the bet doesn't come in, I'm not.
I'll lurk into the Championship. I'll go Leeds over 2. Leeds Plymouth over 2.5 goals. Leeds win.
No, I'm letting you down here. Sorry, boys.
Nice that. We'll get Josh's pick and put it up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on. So we've covered all things football this week, and now it's time for our random topic of the week. We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule. So for those of you that maybe haven't hung around for the full 1 hour 40 podcast, I mean, I don't know if we'll be debating this for too long, but Death Row Meals, guys, in the comments, if you're still there or if you're listening, get them in. I mean, I think we should go for a starter, main and dessert. I don't know if
I've got mine.
I've got
mine. Dom, do you want to kick us off?
Go on.
Hot and sour soup.
What's that? Is that a Scouse thing?
What's that?
John, explain what that is.
Did you have a starter ready, or was that your meal?
No, that was my starter. He's just come out with a starter then, and my favourite starter is hot and sour soup. Right, hot and sour soup is shredded meat, a bit of chili in it, and I don't really know what else, but it's fucking lovely.
There's just all sorts in it, isn't there? Wherever you go, there's probably different stuff, but it's nice.
Is it Chinese?
Yeah.
So
Max, it's heavy.
I'm going hot and sour soup, and then depends on where you get it from. Probably Maggie Foods. I'm going salt and pepper chicken, fried rice, heavy chips, carton of curry. I think that's my main. And my dessert. Oh, fucking hell, you know. I'm a shit dessert person, because I love a starter. I'll go with apple pie and custard.
Nice. John, what have you got?
No objections, no?
Well, I mean, it's all about you, isn't it? I can't go. No, you shouldn't have.
Come on, that's what we want.
I mean,
yeah, apple pie is a bit like apple pie is a bit fruity. Me for your last meal.
Yeah, I think I've got
just a bit too light.
Mate, I'm about to die. Just let me have it.
I just feel like I need all this me before I'm gonna die.
Apple and desserts, I just think sometimes like the apple's just too sharp. Like,
yeah,
I don't like that.
Well, I think hot and sour soup's a bit rogue as well, to be honest.
Hot and sour soup is heavy.
Like it. But for anything,
Come on then. What's your starter, Big Balls?
I didn't think of starters. Did you put me on the spot?
I've got a really posh one.
Go on then. Of course you have. Fucking mussels or something.
No, worse. Like crab and crayfish, like mayonnaise together, wrapped in like smoked salmon parcel.
What the fuck is that? John, give him the salad cream.
Yeah, and my main, I mean, I love food. I could talk about food all day. I could do a food podcast. But there's food, and then whatever you've just said, the food. Look, I've got it all in mind because to be honest, I don't actually think you're finishing yours. Like, you've got too much food there.
Nah, easy. That's easy.
I'd nail 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm having a steak and chips for my main with onion rings. I just think that's my favourite.
What sauce?
Peppercorn.
Caviar.
I've got a good palate. What can I say? You know, I love steak and chips.
You're an expensive date.
Yeah, potentially, and a glass of red wine in that, by the way.
What?
I don't know how you feel about wine. How are we doing wine?
Don't mind wine, but
Not
yeah,
red.
this is very feminine.
I'm a red wine man.
Dessert probably banoffee pie, I'd say.
Oh,
Serious.
you've redeemed yourself there, Max. You have.
Yeah, love it, mate. Love it. What about yourself, John?
Don't know, boys. I'm struggling. Yeah.
Well, you're about to die. Come on, the guys in
I
here.
like
What are
too
you
much food. I like
I've
too
got the
much
sponge
food.
on your head now, John. Come on.
I like too much food to pick something. That's
Well,
my
you've got to
issue.
pick something. You're about to die.
John, starter. You're going to die in 5 minutes. What's your starter?
See, I'd normally go with like Chinesey, but I'm going to switch it up just because you've gone Chinesey.
Ready, bruh?
I'll have like, ever go to an Italian and you get like king prawn, it's like gambaroni or something, like prawn, garlic king prawns on like the bread.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'll have a bit of that for me starter. Mains and all. I think on your, if your last meal, you need to be getting something greasy and horrible and just proper loving it.
I did.
So, that's what I'd get what you got, like which is the staple in it. Like that's what I want: salt and pepper chicken, rice, curry. If I didn't get that, I'd probably get like.
So you're just led by everyone else, are you?
Sheep.
No, that's just what we eat. We have it every week.
Yeah, that's like that is the Scouse meal.
I'll have me nan.
What about a bowl of scouse?
Nah, no. I'll have me nan.
You die.
I'll have me nan's roast dinner. That'll do.
Going to die. You're dying bloated there, John.
I'll have me nan's roast dinner. That's sound.
Yeah, go on.
And then for me, dessert. You know what my favourite dessert is at the minute, and I'm gonna pick it just because it's. I'm like at the minute, it's what I'm getting if I'm going out for something sweet. Creme brulee.
Oh,
I
got a blowtorch the top though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pure cracker. Oh,
yeah.
mate. What a dessert.
What am I a part of here?
I'd normally just get hot brownie and ice cream and that's it.
Yeah. There you go. That'll do. What about then? Let's add a drink to this. What drink?
Oh, I love a glass of red, I've said, but I can't. I actually struggle to. I struggle to drink like a pint of beer if I'm eating. Like,
oh no, I don't.
I get a bit bloated, so yeah, maybe a bit.
I'm loving a Guinness at the minute, mate.
Yeah, you'll have your 0%, Dom, but not if you're dying.
Not if you're dying.
Forget about the dying situation. Forget about all the meal that you've just had. If you could have one last drink and it was your last taste bud, what is your drink? I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with probably Jack Daniels and Coke.
Nah, I'm not asked about alcohol. I'm having a freaking serious milkshake from some guy by ours.
Ooh.
Millionaire. Is it a millionaire one? Millionaire milkshake for Earl Rocher. Kinder Bueno, all that in a milkshake, mate. Gear.
I'm so boring, but I'm a big like original Coke stan. I love.
Max, I'm gonna rename you to fucking Vanilla.
Nah, Max is the best.
Yeah, that's me. While we're I'll do one more. What's our curry of choice?
From the
Indian.
Indian.
Curry? Yeah.
I'm a trash man, mate.
You're giving that a miss, Dom. You're shaking your head.
I couldn't give a fuck. I just like chippy curry.
Nah, little madras, heavy.
Honestly, couldn't give a fuck. My ass is like a rabbit's nose, so the last thing I want to do is go out for a curry.
A rabbit's nose, sorry. Can you expand on that? What a note. Well, I'll do mine quickly. So chicken tikka masala, pilau rice, garlic naan, onion bhajis.
Uncle Ben's.
But yeah, what a note to end on. Dom's arse is like a rabbit's nose.
Love it.
Guys, get in the comments. What's your favourite curry? What's your death row meal? Overall review of the podcast. Are we doing well? Are we doing shite? Do you want to get more guests on? Any interesting features for the show?
Any
comments?
Any questions for next week as well? Don't forget.
Yeah, questions for next week. Get in the comments. Feedback.
Nice one for Jack for coming in as well, Jack.
Yeah,
spot on there.
Jack. Thought he was boss as well.
That's what I mean. We open the door to the community. The door is there. Just got to knock on it. So thanks everyone, and yeah, keep liking, keep subscribing. We're on Woogs' channel at the moment, but if you keep liking, subscribing the original pages, keep building it up. we'll get there. But yeah, we'll be on Woogs' page till after Christmas, most likely into the new year. So
For anyone wondering where Woogs or who Woogs is, he's shitting out of both ends at the minute. So I thought I'd finish on a very positive note. Let the team down tonight. He's a fucking disgrace.
Brilliant
Cheers up,
stuff.
Joshy boy.
Brilliant stuff. Like and subscribe, guys. And yeah, we'll catch you very soon.
In a bit, boys.
Nice one, fellas.
Bye.
Oh, don't leave on that note. Come on. Never actually.